theology, all things theology. We chop it up properly, without an apology. Gotta give doxology to God hollow, because this is how we do it at All Things Theology.
Yo, grace and peace, guys. Welcome to another episode of All Things Theology. I'm your host, Kdub. And today, I want to talk about racism at G3. I have a Facebook friend. He is Pastor Darryl Miller, who actually recently deleted me off Facebook because of this, claims that he had a traumatic experience, racist experience at G3. I'm going to actually play some clips of his video where he went Facebook Live describing some of these traumatic experience, as well showing how some of his statements actually contradict. I do not believe his story for one bit, and neither should you. And we're going to find the actual real reason for this racist experience. What are the events that might lead an African American person who ascribes to woke theology, as we will see? What would lead that person, a rational person, to believe they were having a traumatic experience, as he calls a racist experience, and calls the G3 conference racist? What would lead a person to believe that information? Well, what you're about to see is a story that makes Jussie Smollett's experience actually believable.
I have been a part of the G3 conference for the last 5 years, me and my wife. We have been invited by special guests. There have been times by which we were told that when it comes to those who are part of the speakers conference of the G3 conference, and therefore there will be you won't have access to that. But then if certainly you getting materials and resource materials and books, then it is open to the public. But what I went through on October 1st, 2021, on a Friday at the G3 conference was very life-shattering to me. I was insulted. I was belittled. I was also not only being belittled, but I was demeaned by the individual who were a part of the Virgil Walker's team. And as I said before, he was loud and rambunctious. He was cowarded by coming behind me and getting loud. There were those who were his peers and those who were of his own peers that they did not say anything. They did not do anything to stop this, because, matter of fact, I just thank God that He has given me not only the wisdom and knowledge of His Word, but also to demonstrate character, not only as a minister of the gospel, but also a pastor as well. We are looking for individuals who can pick this story up, who will be very open-minded and receptive. We don't need folk to look at us through the lenses of the Reformed judgmentalism, but begin to show compassion.
Now, Darryl claims that he was invited to the G3 conference. Now, he doesn't even say who he was invited for, by. None of the G3 organizers or what. So he kind of leaves it to you to assume that he was invited. Obviously, it was not as a speaker, because he has never spoken at the G3 conference, though he claims he has been to G3 for the last 5 years. Darryl was actually removed from the conference, folks, for this reason. He was not registered from the conference. And so though he bought books from the conference, he was not registered to attend the conference. Therefore, he was not able to even be in the area, where to buy the books. He went to a conference he did not pay for, and he should not have even had access to it. And what I'm about to show on the screen right now is actually what Josh Buice actually comments on the very Facebook Live that you're hearing here. I grabbed the video, and as you see on the screen, Josh Buice comments and says, "I'm happy to discuss this with you in full detail. But let's suppose you tried to enter the Brave Stadium on Friday evening to spend $200 on supper with your wife. If you aren't holding tickets for the game, how do you think security will treat you?" And Josh Buice has a point here. Darryl did not attend the conference, and therefore security removed him from the building. And he believes this is the racist, traumatic experience that he encountered at G3 because he did not pay. Listen to the facts of the story. And it's something he even admits. He admits he didn't pay for the G3 conference. And so he was removed from the G3 conference because he did not pay. But he throws in and interprets this all as a racist act. He's assuming they wouldn't have done this to him if he was white. Because from my experience, understanding, he was not wearing his name badge, which signifies, hey, he has paid for the conference. And so I believe that's why he was removed. And matter of fact, guys, we're actually going to see evidence which shows, if you look on the screen right now, that is Darryl Miller at last year's conference. And at last year's conference, notice what he does not have on as well. Yes, he does not have a name tag on. So I do not know this for a certain, but given what he's shared now, it's actually very probable that he didn't pay at last year's conference or conferences prior to this one.
Is that I thank God that nothing happened, but at the same time, not only was I insulted, not only was I ridiculed, not only was I embarrassed, not only was I mistreated with such disrespect, but also I felt that I was being stalked. Not only being stalked, but also I was fearful of my life because I didn't know what Matt was going to do. And matter of fact, he was very loud. He put his finger in the air and told me to get out of here. You don't belong here. Matter of fact, I don't know where you come from, but you don't belong here. Talking to me like I'm some 2-year-old child.
I don't know who Matt is. The way he tells the story, maybe it was security for Virgil. I don't know. If Virgil ever watches the video, maybe he will be able to tell you guys more. Would love to hear from Virgil. But I think he's in the exaggeration mode. He's already talked about, hey, people need to pick up this story. He wants this to go viral. Be careful what you ask for because you might just get it. If this story goes viral, it's not going to be looking good for you, given what I've already discovered. And like I said, I was not doing crazy amount of research. This is just me skimming Facebook, just going real quick what I saw. Imagine if I actually took time to, investigate. But I want to show the dangers of kind of this woke victimization that he actually exhibits himself. He's saying that, who are you from? And you need to get out of here, you black, all this kind of language that he's exhibiting when, I really doubt that's what happened. What probably happened was something to this. Hey, look, I don't see that guy with a name tag. Yeah, you're right. He doesn't have a name tag. Hey, sir, where's your name tag? I'm just here for the book. Someone invited me. I'm not here for the conference. Okay, sir. Well, we're going to have to ask you to leave since, you don't have that name tag. You're going to have to leave the premises. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm just going to leave, no big deal. Okay. That's probably how it really happened.
And what happened on October 1st, 2021 was not respectful. And regardless of those who says, well, did you register for the conference? Matter of fact, that was the wrong question to even ask.
Oh, that was the wrong question. No, that's the right question. You should be registered. Guess what? This is a pastor, guys. You should be registered to things you attend. You should pay for the things you attend. Now, if you get invited and they give it for free, okay, that's great. But if you have to pay, pay.
Because it lets me know that you don't give a damn about what I experienced and what I experienced. You didn't care nothing about the story. And you know who I'm talking about. Don't call me. Don't tell me that you're interested in my story. Because you are already biased already. It's just like saying in some words, had you registered for the conference, then this wouldn't have happened to you. There were those that my wife said witness to the fact that there were those who were not who did not even have was not having a badge on. We wasn't there to stay there for the conference. We were there to get books and materials. We were invited as a guest in order to get those materials, and we move on.
So why were you there then if you weren't there for the conference? I mean, this is the G3 conference and you're at the G3 conference and you're saying you weren't there for the conference. You don't get to partake in the events that happen at the conference. And another question is, given the things you said throughout this video of racist leadership, why would you even want to be there at a racist conference as you claim?
But then you have this guy named Mac, and I'm not going to stop, and I'm not going to keep my mouth closed until I get a letter of apology. I'm not going to stop. Have over 99.1% of Caucasians who was there at the conference, and yet me and my wife was the only one that had a mask on in the midst of a pandemic. In the midst of the fact that Atlanta, Georgia has already mandated masks.
Another thing that I found absurd was that Darryl claims that, quote, there was no blacks there who attended the conference. Well, what do you call Virgil Walker, Darryl Harrison, Voddie Baucham? There were actually black speakers there. Nevertheless, there were many black friends of mine who were at the conference. I mean, just look at all these beautiful black people. I mean, some friends of mine on Twitter, some I know have gotten the chance to talk to, but man, black people I respect. And the G3 conference has many black people. Funny enough, they have what a lot of woke people wish they had, unity amongst ethnicities. And so he's going even beyond the interpretation of his experience, but now he's just straight up lying and slandering because he wants to paint this as a white redneck conference that was promoting racism. That's what he wants to paint this as.
The mere fact of the matter is, I was treated as a common criminal, as if I committed a crime.
While actually making this video, I had Virgil Walker actually respond to me, so very appreciative of his time. I stated that on Twitter that I was going to be responding to this video, and he said to me, giving that guy any attention is a waste of time. I witnessed his incident and talked to him after it was over. He needs more attention than I'm willing to provide, and his claims are absurd. And though I agree with a lot what Virgil says right here. And so Virgil says he talked to him after this event, and it seems that the guy was not willing to be reasonable. And Virgil is actually a witness to what took place. And so would be very curious to see if he agrees with a lot of what I'm saying in this video. That is Virgil. And I told Virgil, you're probably right, but nevertheless, it serves as a teaching example. I say anyone can immediately see through this. And so that's actually why I'm making the video. And so here is Virgil actually responding to a lot of this. While I'm actually making the video, Virgil is he responded to me. So I definitely want to put this in there. So hope you guys appreciate what Virgil has to say. Oh, and make sure you follow me on Twitter.
I know what racial profiling is. I was racially profiled not only with Mac, but I was racially profiled by the very woman who was at the front desk or the registration desk. I asked her the question, how much is the conference? She looked at me with a grin on her face and said it's going to cost hundreds of dollars. You already racially profiled me as if I could not afford it.
I literally can't make this video, you guys. Wow. So he comes up to this lady, registration lady, desk, and says, how much? And she says, you can't afford it. It's like almost how he interprets it, like it's going to cost you hundreds of dollars. I can't do this. And so he gets all mad, like, oh, you're racially profiling me. And then he says something else interesting later about this same story.
When I asked you how much the conference, racial profiling again, it's going to cost hundreds of dollars. What do you call that? That's racial profiling.
One thing I found funny is that from his story is that the lady says that it'll cost you hundreds of dollars. which is actually true. The G3 conference costs hundreds of dollars. So what was said was actually true. What he interpreted is false. Secondly, why are you asking about registration? Because you have to register before you get to the conference. I mean, I think like a week up to the conference is too late, or like 5 days, because guess what? I experienced that. I wasn't able to go because I tried to do so late. That's why I wasn't at the G3 conference. Anyways, enough of the sad story. So why are you even asking about registration while you're already at the conference attending a day after? Because he came on the 1st, and I think the conference already had been the Friday he came, and it already been going on that Thursday. Like the conference had actually started. So I actually don't even believe this part of his story, because or if it is true, it's pretty strange that you would be asking about this.
She began to ask me, she began to give me more information or flyers about a Baptist seminary. Then gonna ask me, have you been to school? Don't even know me. Don't even know my background. Don't even know my educational background. But have you been to school?
See, many woke people would interpret anything that they deem offensive in any question, any statement will be deemed as racist. Notice this woman asked, have you been going to school, or, have you got a degree or something to that nature? And he sees that as don't even know me. Maybe that's why she's asking, because she doesn't know you. And again, more of this racist rhetoric that he's actually importing to the hearts of people he does not know. He doesn't know them, but he's not as careful to say, oh, maybe, I don't know them. Maybe they're just genuinely asking, but he imports racism into their hearts and motivations.
That was a very life-altering experience for me. When I was insulted, belittled, demeaned, stalked, fearful for my life because of a white mob who have so much hatred in his heart because of the mere fact of my skin color. Call it whatever you want to think it, or however you want to create your narrative, because I know that what I experience is the narrative, and it's not based on your narrative. It's based on my narrative. Yes, I'm offended. I'm offended because of the mere fact that Virgil Walker, along with Mac, walked away, left me hanging in the balance. No apology, no resolution. Telling me you don't belong here. You don't belong here. What makes you think that you can come into this convention and this conference and not pay?
Yes, Darryl. What gives you the impression that you as a Christian can avoid paying services? Just because you're a pastor, or just, maybe you think because you're a black people owe you things. What gives you that right when thousands of other people paid? Some people were offered scholarships. From what I hear, they do give free tickets. But what makes you think you can just walk up any place like it's your own without paying? That's the bigger question.
Did you think I want to become a part of the G3 conference? Do you think I care about hearing John MacArthur and Voddie Baucham? And those who are very insensitive, who have no sentiment nor sensitivity to the plight and condition of black folks? And I damn did not want to hear doggone Voddie Baucham, because he ought to let me know whose side he's on.
Now I think we've gotten to the heart of the matter. It seems Pastor Darryl Miller, and I use that term pastor loosely, Pastor Darryl Miller showed up at this conference to sow discord and dissension. Because if you were not here to hear the speakers, if you didn't care about these brethren, why are you there? Why show up at a conference that you literally hate the very things they're going to be talking about, and you want to start a scene? Why? And like I said, and you didn't pay, so why show up to a conference like that? See, maybe you should check your motivations before you start assuming the motivations of other people.
The problem with many reformed people, and that is this, as well as the leadership, they are blinded by their own prejudice. They are blind by their own sin of racism. You was a coward by coming behind me, Mr. Mack. You was a coward. And I will call you a coward. You thought that I was a pushover. But I ain't. Because I ain't damn scared.
Wait a second, Darryl. Pastor Darryl Miller. Didn't you say recently or earlier in this video that you were in fear for your life?
Stopped! Fearful for my life. Fearful for my life.
And now you're saying you're not scared.
Because I ain't damn scared.
Which one is it, Pastor Darryl Miller? So, Pastor Darryl, how did this experience make you feel?
I felt like I couldn't breathe. I felt like a bullet that went through my heart.
Wow.
Someone who shot me in the back 8 times. Stop resisting. Put your hands behind your back. How in the hell can you tell me to put my hand behind my back and stop resisting when you have already put 8 bullets in my back? But there you are. There are some of you all who believe no matter how much money you spend, they want to ask me a simple question. Did she register for the conference? Did she register for the conference?
Yes, Pastor Darryl. Did you register to the G3 conference? I mean, we already know the answer, but we want you to tell people.
That we should not spend our hard-earned black dollars.
Black dollars?
To an organization that don't give a damn about black folk.
Hey, Pastor Miller, will you just apologize for the lie that you're spreading here? It's clearly a lie.
Y'all want to talk about the babies being aborted? So you telling me that George Floyd's life doesn't matter?
What are you talking about, Pastor Miller?
I said it.
But we're not saying that.
I said it.
Oh, okay. Relax. Ladies and gentlemen, it is actually my hope that Darryl Miller and people like Darryl Miller will obviously change their ideology, but repent of this disunity, this dissension, constantly finding fault and things that are just kind of just silly. So I made this video as a teaching lesson, as I described earlier. And I hope this serves as a teaching lesson for many other people, just to not assume the worst about people, to not be, one, easily offended. And lastly, pay for conferences.